Hello and welcome to Car Dealer Live. In this video, we're going to be discussing the very latest used car prices for August. I'm James Baggett. I'm the founder of Car Dealer Magazine. And joining me today is Derren Martin. He's an automotive consultant for trade valuations firm Percayso, as well as many others. Derren, very nice to see you again. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thanks, James. Yeah,
Welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for
thank
joining
you.
us.
Good to be
So,
back.
let's talk, Derren, firstly about this data from Percayso because it comes from slightly different places, doesn't it? Is it trade or retail? Give me a little bit of an understanding.
So they do use trade data, but it's mainly retail data that Percayso values are based off. They get information from used car websites from the internet, and they get around 800,000 records every day that they're scraping. And that goes into their algorithm to produce a retail value. They then have some trade data that they produce a trade value from, but it's mainly retail down that they're producing those valuations.
Yeah, I've been using it over the last couple of months and found it very, very useful indeed. Give me an idea then, Derren, of how used car prices are just being affected in general right now. I mean, what's having the biggest effect? Is it supply, demand? Give me a little bit of an oversight.
It's really stable. It's almost difficult to talk about anything particularly interesting in the used car market because it is there's lots of things going on under the surface, but it is a really stable market, which is really good. So supply levels are not increasing dramatically. Obviously, in that 3-year-old cohort of vehicles, there's still shortages from COVID and post-COVID, and so those values have remained pretty strong. It's been very stable all year. But one of the interesting things when I was looking at the data from Percayso is that the values actually went up this month for the first time since January. So retail values only slightly, 0.1%, but it's still a positive movement after coming down very slightly for the last few months. The values have gone the other way, so I see that as a real positive, especially in the month of August when you got holidays and we've had some really good weather. Consumers can tend to sort of put purchasing on hold, but it has been pretty strong, well, pretty stable. From speaking to dealers, they're not going like saying, "Oh, it's going gangbusters." It's and it is a little bit mixed, but overall the data, it is a small positive movement.
So that headline figure for August is 0.1% rise in those retail prices. Give me an idea then about the different fuel types. I mean, there's always a lot of devil in the detail here, isn't there?
Yeah, so interestingly for me anyway, the strongest fuel type is actually diesel. So diesel's gone up by 0.6%. And I think that's pretty much due to lower supply levels. Obviously, what's happened in the new car market over the last few years has reduced what there is in the for diesel. So that has gone up, which is only about £100, but it has still gone up. So there's still demand for that fuel type. Obviously, they're relatively clean vehicles now. There's not the demonisation of diesels has long gone, but volumes, obviously, in the new car market are reducing all the time. The area that has dropped is electric vehicles, but not by much. It's kind of negligible. So, and hybrids again have been a very small sort of a very small increase, almost level really. So, diesel is strong. Petrol is pretty strong. There's obviously lots of devil within that detail as well. EVs have dropped, but not by as much as they've been dropping previously. So, I would say across the board, across all fuel types, it's pretty strong. But it's diesel that stands out really.
What's the figure for those electric cars out of interest?
So electric cars is a drop of 0.2%.
So it's not
So
it's not huge, is it?
I mean, in another month, if diesel hadn't gone up and petrol hadn't gone up, you'd have been talking that as a real sort of a real strong point. And obviously, that, as I say, lots of different models moving in different directions. But overall, a very small negative. But that's less of a move than last month when they came down by I think double that or something like that. So, but again, even that we were painting that as a bit of a positive picture amongst the whole market.
And where's their real growth in those prices? I mean, you've mentioned diesel there, but talk to me a little bit about the age ranges of the cars that are being affected the most.
So 3 year old is a positive. At 1 year old, it's not quite. It's more or less level at 1 year old, really. But again, I would see that as a good thing. Some of the older vehicles have suffered a little bit, and we're seeing by price point that £10,000 to £20,000 price point is the strongest price point. Obviously, that's bread and butter as well for the vehicle for the retailers. We've seen car supermarkets have been increasing their prices by the most. Um, Independents not quite as much, and franchise dealers sort of more or less level. So it's been sort of that 10 to 20 car supermarkets under that sort of 10 grand mark. The values haven't been quite as strong. So has been that sort of real hotspot of 10 to 20, and that's again the same for all fuel types. You can get electric vehicles in that price range now, obviously. So that has been the real sort of strong area.
And what about those models that have been falling the most, or I mean, where are you seeing the real distress?
So we looked at it by brand initially. And I wouldn't say distress, but the brands that have dropped by the most are Renault, it's down about 0.5%, BMW down 0.2%, Kia down negligible amount. So I wouldn't say they stand out dramatically, although Renault that is sort of the second or third month that those values have dropped. Strength has been Land Rover, and that was the same last month. They were the strongest performing manufacturer. I think they've just had so much pain over the last few years with prices that they now look really good values, really reasonably priced. That's helped them. Mini has also done well, gone up in value. And interesting, the third one is Vauxhall. So that's sort of mainstream brand and that's performed quite well as well. But Land Rover, they went up by 1.8% in July and then 3.7% in August. And this is generally data around the 3 year point that I've been analysing there. So they're ones that have really stood out. There are a few models that have done okay as well. So the top risers were a couple of EVs, BMW iX3 EV, Skoda Enyaq EV, and then you've got the Seat Ateca. So they've all performed pretty well. Hyundai Ioniq 5 EV as well. So there's definitely some strength in that EV world. And then you've got some of the biggest drops. Top faller was the Peugeot 208. BMW 3 Series Hybrid has dropped as well. Kia Ceed, Jaguar I-Pace EVs actually dropped, and that's quite an interesting one because that obviously has had some pain over a lot of years now, but still, and looks tremendous value compared to ICE vehicles, but still had a little bit of pain. And obviously, this is the retail data that we're talking about.
So lots of detail there. I mean, what are your thoughts, Derren, for next month and for the rest of the year? I mean, we've seen a lot of stability this year in used car prices. I guess that might continue.
Yeah, I think so. September is obviously a pivotal month because of the new car registrations. It generates a lot of part exchanges, fleet returns, rental cars coming back, and obviously a feature of the market this year has been daily rental, with manufacturers heading back into that. We have had some pain in this sort of period over previous years, particularly sort of 2022, 2023. Last year was pretty stable, and I think we're in for some more stability. That there's still not an abundance of cars out there. We're looking at tracking stock levels. It's been very stable all year. You're never quite sure with quarter four, but I would expect there to be some small drops, but not nothing dramatic would be my prediction. That's sort of once we head through September, we'll get more cars generated. But there's obviously things that with the market, with the ZEV mandate obviously being chased towards the end of the year, focus on new car. You've got the electric car grant, which has kind of muddied the waters a little bit, but has also led to quite a lot of interest in electric cars in used and the new market. Obviously a bit of a mess with who's getting what on the grants, and it hasn't had the impact that people hope for, but it does generate interest in used cars as well. So it can be good for the overall market just to have some sort of consumer interest in it. So yeah, overall, I would say we're in for a fairly stable quarter four relative to previous, but values will probably drop, probably more so in trade than in retail, but nowhere near as much as they have done in some of the previous years where it's been quite a downturn.
Well, lots to talk about in the future there, Derren. We look forward to catching up with you again next month. Thank you very much for today.
Thanks.
Good to see you. That's Derren Martin, consultant for trade price valuations firm Percayso. Right, for the very latest on used car prices, check out our website. It's cardealermagazine.co.uk, and you can click the used car tab at the top of the page. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.